Okay. Drop the left shoulder. Most e-commerce shoots have that very flat lighting look. It's appealing because it's for a lookbook. I went the other way. I used that knowledge and I added my own twist to it. I wanted it to be very broad, but I still wanted some depth and dimension to it. Usually I like to have some backlight and some hair lighting. You can see that in my previous e-commerce shoot I did for this particular brand. But for today's shoot, I used 3 lights. One through a screen, one in a reverse umbrella, and one bouncing into the ceiling. The screen is a 6x6 feet screen from Manfrotto. The 80,200 Pro was my key light that was passing through the screen. I wanted that big spread coming from the top, so it's angled down a little bit just so that I can feel from top to, let's say, her lower belly area. I had the other feel coming in from the 180 centimeter reverse umbrella that added an extra kick to open the shadows on camera right or model left, and the main fill, which was brightening up, making sure the background was also lit, was coming from the 7-inch cone reflector, which was mounted on the other AD600. I bounced that into the ceiling, and I think that's what's my lighting for today's shoot. You can see how the key light itself plays on this particular image. You can see the fill, you can see the bounce into the ceiling, and you can see all of them coming together to give me that broad lighting looking image. I wanted to have a top to down feel, and this was the best solution for me. Bring the face towards me. Just don't turn the body, just the head. Bring your face towards me. Chin down, chin down. Look over your shoulder. Yes. Hold on, don't change the posture. Can I? Yes. Open your lips. The lighting style I used for today's shoot was the broad lighting style, and when it comes to broad lighting style, you need a very big source of light. Mostly I'm either bouncing the light onto my ceiling to give me that broad lighting feel, but looking at this warehouse, it had a very long ceiling, so the screen was my friend, which gave me the very broad lighting I was looking out for. When you want to achieve broad lighting by using screens, you need a very powerful strobe. I like to use AD600s and above, so any flash or any strobe above 500 watts. I had an 80,200 watts, I had an AD600, 2 AD600s. So whenever it is you want to shoot e-commerce, make sure you have powerful strobes, just so that if you want to achieve what I'm achieving here by using a screen, an umbrella, and the ceiling, this is something you should look out for. So mostly pay attention to the wattage of the flash you're using. If you remember anything about the inverse square law, with distance, light intensity reduces. So whenever you increase the distance between your subject and your light source, you're going to have a lower intensity of light on your subject. In as much as I'm using a screen, I didn't want different lighting on the subject I was shooting. So I marked the floor of the backdrop with a black marker just because it's closer to the color of the backdrop. I wanted my model to stay intact, stay in the same position, just so I can have consistent lighting on her all the time. Whenever she changed outfits, whenever she changed poses, she was still in the same, or she was at the same place to which my initial lighting settings were set for this particular shoot. This will help to give you consistent looks, helps to reduce editing stress when you're trying to balance exposures and shadows and all that. This lighting system is going to help with that, but also making sure your subject stays at one point to which your lighting settings were perfect will help you a long way. Using screens comes with its own problems when you're lighting with bare bulbs. So I made sure to modify all the bare bulbs with cones. I had a 7-inch cone on the AD600 bouncing into the ceiling, and I had the default cone that comes with the AD1200 on it. I limited and restricted the spill of the lights just so that it will only hit the screen and not spill off the screen. So I advise you to limit and restrict the direction of the light spread whenever you're using a screen by using a cone. Camera gear for the day was the 5D Mark IV, EOS 5D Mark IV. I used a variety of lenses. I used the 35mm for a wide view because the client wanted that elongated look for the model. I used the 50mm for the very default lookbook shoot, the straight on 45, 90 and the back shoot, and I use the 85mm for the close-up shoot to show the details. So having a variety of lenses helps, but I would advise you to get a 24-70 just so not to be changing lenses on set whenever it is you're shooting, to keep the flow whenever it is you're shooting. Let's run back on the things I said in today's video. I spoke about why I use the screen, and by using it in the way I did, I wanted to achieve broad lighting. In turn, I added the other two lights, the 180 reverse umbrella and the 7-inch on the other AD600 to give me a complete broad lighting look. I also spoke about why you need powerful strobes just because you're lighting a screen. I spoke about certain marking points for the subject just so that you can have consistent lighting on the subject to ease your editing, to ease your shooting. Last but not least, I spoke about directing the spread of the light, especially when you're using a screen. So these are the things I spoke about in today's video. Please make sure to subscribe, like and share, and I'll see you in the next one.
Look at me, look at me, look at me. So when you flare, so when it goes this way, right, the face goes this way, the face, yeah. So or more or less the head, yes. So yes, rather than when you flare, you go the same way. So when this goes here, your face goes here. When this goes here, your face goes here.